What I've loved so much about this conference is that I've been able to find all the things, right? Everything I've been searching out for, but plenty of surprises, along the way. Whether it's those, oh, hey, it's this person surprise in the hall, right? Or a name on a board, or I know you, right? And so that's one of the things that I love about Iste Live, are the multiple formats, the different ways to learn, the different ways to experience some of these pieces. I'm so excited to chat with you about all things Iste. How has your conference been so far?
Oh, it's been so great. Thank you, and thanks for having me here today. I'm just happy to talk about the great highlights of the conference, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Well, I want to jump right in to talk a little bit about the themes of this year's conference. Can you share with us what are some of the major themes of this year's Iste conference?
Great, yeah. I think it's really about bringing back that joy. Bring the joy back to learning. Richard Kulata, our CEO, talked about that in the first main stage, and I hope people have felt that throughout. We've had music, we've had dancers, we've had student presenters. It's been really fun. So it's really, I think that is the theme, and hoping that other educators feel that feeling and can bring that back into their work, bring it back into their classrooms. We know it's been a hard couple of years. Even under best circumstances, teaching can be challenging. So I think it's really bringing the joy back into learning, and that there's data that backs it up. If you're happy and healthy and feel safe, you can learn better. And so really trying to hone in on that joy and fun and bring it back into learning is really key.
Joyful, right? Or the joyful would definitely be a word I would use to describe the energy here.
Nice.
The past
I love
few
that.
days, right? So just the smiles and the bright eyes and people recognizing their friends that they haven't seen in a while here at the conference from across the hall. So that big theme of taking that away, right, and bringing that back into your work. Are there other things that you've noticed, maybe in conversations or observations? Are there other things that you imagine folks who are here at this year's conference are going to take away from what they've learned and help prepare for this upcoming school year?
Yeah, I think we've challenged our attendees to really think outside the box. And whether that is, just trying a new lesson or trying something new with a tool, I feel like on one hand, remote learning and going through a pandemic forced people to try new things through technology, whether they liked it a lot or not. But they also were kind of things were forced upon them, and they weren't able to have the freedom to try things, or decisions were made without their input. And so I hope that we're moving towards a new phase where they do have a little bit more freedom and liberty to make some choices in their lesson planning or tool selection, that type of thing. And I hope the Iste conference, Iste Live, has really brought that spark back. Because, educators naturally have that. They want to try something new. They get excited by learning something new along with their students. And so hopefully going into next school year, they can feel a little bit self-assured. Oh, I learned something at this conference. I met this person. We're going to talk about it, work it out, in the next couple months, and then I can try it with my students. And so I hope it kind of gives back some freedom and some confidence into trying something new and being innovative, because it's in there. And that is what I love about Iste, is bringing that spark out, bringing that energy back. So I hope they can keep it going into the next year.
Yeah, and just having the space here to try something out that's new, to sit next to someone at your table who is equally excited or curious about that thing, when maybe you don't have that person down the hall from you just yet. They're excited about something else, right? So having that person with some similar interests nearby who might push your thinking or stay connected with you too throughout the year. I know I have met so many people here that I continuously check in with, right? Whether it was Twitter chats that we pop into together, or we're on a text thread, right? Or I'm sure there's lots of Iste Voxer groups going strong, right? Especially over the next couple of weeks, where people are jumping into everything that they want to bring back, to the upcoming school year. So I'm wondering, what were some highlight moments for you that you've heard other people talk about? I know the Iste Live hashtag has been very, very wild. Buzzing, right, is the right word for it probably. So what are some highlight moments from the conference?
I mean, there are so many. I wish I could be like in 50 places at once because there are just so many great things going on. We were just talking about the expo hall earlier, and I had gone through there and talking about like hands-on, like, like trying new things and like physically like working with devices and trying things out. I love how experiential our expo hall is, and our vendors are wanting to do demonstration with real attendees and educators, and having some real educator demonstrations within the expo hall has been really fun. I know our attendees get a lot out of that. There's been some really nice like custom kind of experiences for different audiences. I feel like I was part of this leadership exchange on Sunday, and that was really bringing together a lot of district leaders and district decision makers and hearing from each other and bringing their team together. So it was 2 or 3 or 4 people from one district all speaking the same language and learning from each other on the same page. What does it mean to be like empowering our staff to, better prepare our students for digital learning experiences, that type of thing. And so it was just like the energy and those connections, like fostering those connections. Not only was it like little mini reunions, I saw all these people like, oh, I haven't seen you in so long, or I've never seen you in person, but we've been following each other for years. I love those moments. And then there was one, like, it was like a roundtable discussion, and they were all talking about, different challenges at their school district, and they were like, me too, no, me too. Like there was so much of that just naturally happening, and it's really rewarding to see those connections being made, and exchanging business cards, and let's follow each other because I want to keep the conversation going. And so kind of like sustaining these great moments and keeping them going in the next 2 months, even though like if I was a teacher, I would I need a break, but it's so energizing here. They want to keep the conversation going. Let's see what we can do together. Let's make it better. And they're already excited for next year.
Yeah, and just the connections here. This is my 9th Iste, nice. And I know this year, more so probably than any in the past, I'm on the hunt looking for people, like I need to find where's this person, right? I haven't found this, like I'm almost, this internal checklist, and then my actual Google Sheets where I want to find this person at this booth, I want to make sure I check in. And so just like you said, there's just that energy around all of those connections, and then the new connections and those moments that happen here. Now, you mentioned the panel format. One of the things I love about Iste and this Iste Live conference are the multiple formats with which you can experience something new. I know the playgrounds have been a really energetic space too. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the formats or some of the things that you might have noticed, some of this energy, happening around?
Yeah, it's a great point. Yeah, I mean, we have so many different experiences here. The playgrounds, again, more hands-on, learning specific tools, specific strategies in practice. What can I do this, how can I do this with my students type of thing. The poster sessions are another great format that people love because it's just casual. We're having a conversation. We have a lot of student presenters, which is awesome to hear from their perspective of like, oh, I tried this great project and, we learned this and we created, some magical thing with robots or whatever type of thing. So those have been really awesome. I haven't had a chance. I've been bummed. There's a VR immersive experience going on right now. I have not seen it. I've heard it is amazing. There was esports the other day, like video games going crazy, like so many great things. And then there are the more traditional things. There's panel discussions, there's breakout groups, there's even lecture style, research roundtables, a little bit of everything. So I think that's another plus of the Iste experience is just find out what works for you or try a little bit of everything, And so I think that's another way to kind of make those connections is oh, you're into esports too? I've been trying it. And, I didn't know. Can we talk about this a little bit more type of thing? And then, kind of having that validation of oh yeah, this is a good idea or whatever. I love that piece of it as well.
Yeah, and just, as you're talking too, I was thinking when I first got here on Sunday, I kind of did the lap to see all these, right? Okay, where are these playgrounds going to be? Where is this going to be? Right, oh, this is a setup here. This, person has something unique going on. And just the layout of an event can sometimes be overwhelming, but what I've loved so much about this conference is that I've been able to find all the things, right? Everything I've been searching out for, but plenty of surprises, along the way. Yes. Whether it's those, oh, hey, it's this person, surprise in the hall, right? Or a name on a board, or I know you, right? And so that's one of the things that I love about Iste Live are the multiple formats, the different ways to learn, the different ways to experience some of these pieces. So are there other kind of big big takeaways that might have surprised you, coming into this conference this year? I know you shared some of the thesis about the connections and bringing this joyfulness back to the school year, which I think is so important. Are there any moments that have surprised you over the past few days?
Oh, great question. Well, I think kind of two different things. So I help lead the Iste membership program as well, and so that is our year-round membership. So we have thousands of members in our membership, but I challenge my team even more to capture some of this energy and keep it going year-round. And we do that in our Iste Connect, our online communities. People are chatting in there 24/7, 365. Ask a question, get an answer. People are sharing ideas, providing advice. So I hope all the Iste members out there can kind of keep this energy going, throughout the year type of thing, because it is hard to recreate this virtually, but our community is so generous and thoughtful and kind. It's not like, putting something out there on YouTube or Twitter and the negativity side of things. It's all just positive and sharing. It is this feeling from the conference in a virtual space, which I love. So that is one piece. And then a surprise is really thinking more holistically. So we've been talking a little bit more about individual educators or tech coaches, librarians, and all of that. We need all the players on the field, but can they do even more if their administrators are on board, or getting the school board on board? It's just been challenging, and so I feel kind of in this moment of lots of maybe tension outside, in the world in general type of thing, and this divisiveness is no, we're all here for the same reasons. We're helping our kids. We want to help them learn in the best way that they can. We can all agree on that. And so I've been seeing some really great conversations and progress in system-wide thinking. How can we transform this in a bigger way, whether it's across a whole school district, even education service agencies are working together. We're all playing a part in this and are doing more with our teacher prep programs. We got to empower our brand new teachers to be successful from day one. It is a hard job. We have to set them up for success in a better way, to have the tools and the skills so that they can create these digital learning experiences for our students of the future. And another piece, there's the state of North Carolina actually has done something phenomenal work at their highest level, and they're actually providing Iste membership to every educator in the whole state. That is just unreal and so meaningful to really level the playing field. It's an equity piece, because then schools that have smaller budgets don't have to can we pay for this PD or not, making those hard decisions. Just give it to them and they can learn on their own time, at their own pace. And that's the beauty of Iste. It has something for everyone. If you're ready to dive in and try something new with VR or robotics or something, great. If you want to just sit back and read our emails and hear that what's coming up next and just kind of digest it, that works too. But we're all growing together. And again, if the more people that are speaking, the same language, getting on the same page, we can make a lot more impact, I think.
I love that emphasis on different roles and how all of those pieces come together. It's interesting because, over the past couple days, more probably than in the past, or maybe I've just noticed it more, some of the conversations I've had have come back to the leadership preparation too, right? In addition to my work focuses primarily with teacher education and professional development with that audience of teachers and coaches, but a few different people have brought into the conversation this idea of building capacity at different levels so that we can have conversations and plan for things, right, really thoughtfully and strategically. So I'm so glad you mentioned that, and I'm glad that you mentioned the live component, right, of this event for folks who might not be physically here. Right. I know 2 of my sessions had the big cameras in the center of the room, those live stream runs, right? And so what does it look like for someone who's attending this conference virtually this week?
Yeah, great question. I think that is something that I was really looking forward to at the beginning of this week. What does the hybrid experience really look like? And I see my team members tucked away in the little, corner office, just monitoring. So that it is a good experience for all those folks who aren't physically here. But I think it has paid off, because I think it's like you said, the content is so rich here. It's hard to recreate the energy. But I think they've done a great job of finding those specific sessions that can translate, virtually type of things. I'm glad they were at your session, capturing those moments, live stream as much as content as we can, so that it is we want to just share far and wide type of thing. And so I'm really excited. I haven't kind of seen the results of, what our virtual learners, have had their experience, how it's gone, but I've heard really good things. And so that's, again, like a silver lining of a pandemic is like, we figured out how to do virtual events in a pretty good way, if you don't mind me saying. And so the power and access really to our international audience, others who are just not feel comfortable to travel, budget restrictions, whatever, like that is off the table. Like let everyone in some way, shape, or form. And so I thank you for bringing that up, because I think that virtual experience, that hybrid, is something that we are doing, we're learning still, but we have done in a good way. And so hopefully we can keep that going year after year, and at other, smaller Iste events maybe throughout the year. So.
Yeah, it seems just like a seamless way for people to participate. It
Right.
feels so natural. It didn't feel invasive as a speaker either.
Good.
It was nice to know, right, that there's other people who might be able to interact with this content later on or right there in the moment. So this has been such a special few days. I think I'm speaking for a lot of people who feel that way. So what's next for Iste? What other conferences are coming up?
Yeah, thanks. I think we have our Creative Constructor Lab coming up. That's in October. That's all virtual again. So that's a great place to get kind of rejuvenated, once the school year kicks off. It's really all about that creativity piece. So inspiring your students to be innovative and thinking differently, physically creating things, whether it's with maker spaces or sketchnoting or whatever. There's a lot of good options there to have foster that sense of creativity. Again, whatever role you're in, it can be really applicable across a lot of different roles. So that's really exciting. And I think we're exploring a few other smaller partner events. We're actually doing something all around digital citizenship as well in October, around Digital Citizenship Week. So we really want that to grow that in a big way, and that can even go beyond, it's schools, it's teachers, it's parents are thinking about it. I'm, as a parent myself, it's like, oh my gosh, how much, what are my kids getting into type of thing, and how can they really use, technology and the internet to just be creative, positive citizens, and so it's really not just about, commenting on something, or is this, real news, fake news, how many YouTube videos can I watch in a row type of thing, but really how to be good digital citizens and productive members of an online society. I mean, it's everywhere. Everyone's on the internet all the time. And so how can we kind of help teachers and students think about that impact and, what that means in the bigger world. So those are some of our ideas, our events that we're kind of focusing on: digital citizenship, creativity, that type of thing, and working more with our higher ed audience as well. So.
Wow, I love the themes, right, too, right, for these pieces, and that embracing of the virtual component. So just so many great things. So if someone wants to learn more about what's coming up, or they want to learn more about your work or how to stay connected, where should they go?
Yes, good question. So on our conference website, I don't know if it's up there yet, but we're going to be launching a new webpage for the DigCit Connect. That's the digital citizenship event. Creative Constructor Lab is up there right now. Check it out. You can see the program. You can see some of the speakers. Registration is open for that one right now. And if you just go to isd.org and look through some of the membership services, district services, and again, that's thinking about the bigger ecosystem. There's the higher ed sections as well. I think you can kind of start to see how it all comes together. And so whatever your role is, there's a piece for you at Iste. And so making sure to find those, and we're trying to do a better job of connecting all those powerful dots.
Well, Heidi, thank you for taking the time out of busy Iste Live to chat and share all of these wonderful takeaways. Thank you for such a wonderful event, and I hope that everyone listening in goes to learn about all the great things that are happening, that are coming up at Iste. So thank you so much, Heidi.
Thank you, Monica. Happy to be here.